Okay, so the second part of the hyperbole, before I begin reading, I am reading from Matthew 13 and 1. The other ones that I spoke about in the other video was Matthew 12 and 26. I mean 46. And then the other one was also Matthew 10. So if you want to go back and look into what I'm talking about, I'm not making it up, it is there. It is there. So here it speaks about what he said to the crowd, not what he said to the disciples. He breaks it down for the disciples. But my question to you is, why do you think that he broke it down for the disciples but only spoke to the crowd? As I read, just I want you to think about that real quick. And it says a farmer went out and sowed his seed. As he was scattering the seeds, from some fell along the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Some fell on rocky places where they did not have much soil, and sprang up quickly. It sprung up quickly because the soil was shallow. But when the sun came up, the plants were scorched. They were withered because they had not rooted. Other seeds fell along thorns, which grew up and choked the plants. Still, other seeds fell on good soil, where it produced a crop, 160 or 30 times what it sown. Whoever has ears, let them hear. Now, Jesus didn't break it down. Jesus didn't try to just explain it. But my question is why? Why do you think he didn't try to break it down for the crowd? Was it because he already knew that they would not hear? I mean, they would not listen to him? Or was it because they wouldn't have the proper understanding anyway? What was it that was different from the disciples and that crowd? Now, keep that in mind. People are going to think I'm crazy when I'm done, but just keep that in mind. If you continue, it says the disciples came to him and asked, "Why do you speak to people in hyperboles?" Now, growing up, a lot of older people that I was raised up around, I say they spoke in hyperboles. They did. Like, they spoke in riddles. And it caught my attention as a child, because it's like, why would you speak to me that way? What is it that is so, why? But as a child, you don't really understand. But as you get older and you think about that, you'd be like, actually, that's a good example of why things should happen this way, or why I went through that. That was a great riddle, but it's really not a riddle. It's a hyperbole. And like, closed mouths can't be fed. It's true. It's very true. Closed mouths can't be fed. And that's what it was about the crowd. I'm gonna give y'all the answer. That's what it was about the crowd. No one had a question to ask. No one asked or questioned Jesus. So how can I feed you the answer if you do not come to me and ask? That's just like if you want something from God, sometimes we don't pray about it. Sometimes we just expect God to give it. And you can't expect anything from the Lord. You have to open your mouth and ask. And that's how Jesus felt about the crowd. No one is trying to gain understanding of it. And that's something that I'm also going to read. You'll see. But no one's trying to grasp the understanding. And that is why he didn't explain it to the crowd. They were only there to hear him. They weren't there to change. They weren't there to make a difference in their life. They were only there to hear what he had to say. And that's how some of us are in a church. It could be a big church. It could be the Potter's house. There is only some people that is there to hear the word of God, but you are not here to change. And that is something that is very deadly. It can kill your spirit. And that can be your reason why you don't make it to heaven. You could be in church every day and hear the word of God, but because you don't put it in your heart and live by it, that's what makes a difference. You have to live by the word of God. Live this, and then you will see the angels in heaven.